Hello, welcome to this mini teacher professional development video on the topic of developing SWBATs or lesson objectives. My name is Nancy Lindberg and I am an English language fellow based in Almaty, Kazakhstan for the 24-25 academic year. As an exchange teacher, it is my pleasure to work with university students and Almaty City School teachers. Let's talk about today's topic, SWBATs. Have you heard the term SWBAT before? SWBATs are simply a way to define our lesson objectives. SWBAT, S-W-B-A-T, is an acronym for Students Will Be Able To. What do you want your students to be able to do? When developing our lesson objectives, we can start with the SWBAT phrase, students will be able to, and follow that phrase with, that's right, with an action verb, a specific action verb. So let's apply this technique to an example lesson. How about a lesson about weather for beginning learners? Weather is a great topic because students already have a lot of background information on the topic from their daily lives. So, I've created 4 outcomes I want my students to be able to do that will help them learn weather vocabulary, create simple sentences using that vocabulary, and utilize their weather vocabulary in conjunction with prior learning to ask and answer questions. In these 4 SWBATs, I've added specific action words to that SWBAT phrase that I want my students to be able to successfully do. So the first, students will be able to match pictures of a weather condition with a written English word. Students will be able to identify weather-related words in writing or pictures in a bingo listening game. So this moves on to listening skills. Students will be able to choose weather words to complete gap-fill sentences, incorporating prior learning of the verb to be and days of the week. So this is both a reading exercise as well as connecting prior learning exercise and contextualizing their new learning. And then finally, students will be able to ask and answer 3 common questions about the weather, incorporating prior learning of the verb to be and the days of the week. This final SWBAT gets them to utilize the language orally. And this is the communicative exercise that will really show us that they comprehend how to use their new vocabulary, its meaning, and how to connect it with their prior learning. So you've probably heard of SMART goals before, and SWBATs should embody the SMART goal features. So let's get specific with our SWBATs and not be too general in how we word them. Specificity will help us make them measurable. Of course, language learning is a huge undertaking, so our collection of SWBATs for each lesson should be achievable within that lesson so that students' language acquisition will continue to grow and strengthen with every meeting. So while students and teachers alike are eager for rapid results, making our objectives realistic and relevant for the level of our students, the sequence of their learning, and the time available is really important. So is timeliness. We need to plan something that effectively uses the limited time that we have available. So these will mean SMART SWBATs. Have you ever considered how meal preparation very nicely illustrates SMART goals and could be worded as SWBATs? When preparing our meals each day, we must be specific with the ingredients and the steps. We measure quantity and time. We must achieve it or we will not eat. We choose to prepare realistic meals depending on the amount of time we have, the ingredients and budget available to us, and perhaps the occasion. And finally, timeliness is the key to a good meal. We want it to be ready when we are ready to eat. When creating SWBATs for more advanced learners, increase the challenge level of the verbs you use in your statements. This will help to make them more relevant for your advanced learners. As teachers, we are constantly creating lessons and identifying learning objectives. Here's an exercise that you can do to review the efficacy of the objectives that you have selected for your lesson. Choose a recent lesson to review. Did you word your objectives as SWBATs? Students will be able to? If not, try rewording them as SWBATs and see how that works. Are they smart? Give it a try. I hope you find this review of SWBATs helpful in your teaching practice. Be well and see you soon.